And welcome, everyone, to an all-new episode of the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I'm your host, Joel, and joining me is my co-host, Matt.
How you going, Joel?
I'm doing all right. This would normally be the point in the show where I ask Matt how his week is, he asks me how my week is, and then we bullshit for the next 30 minutes.
Except we're
But
not going to do that.
yeah, believe it or not, I actually have some housekeeping I wanted to attend to right now before we started. For those who are regular on the channel, and I get the feeling if you're listening to this show, you are, you saw that earlier this week I hit 5,000 subscribers. So thank you for that, everyone. That was really nice, especially considering that I haven't been a solo act for too long now.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it was
Really cool.
nice. Everyone came out, gave me some words of encouragement, and also entered for a contest for a chance to win 4 lovely trades that I'm giving away. I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna do that
Awesome.
soon. I got to get all the postage in order for that. But that I'll leave it open for the next couple days or so, and then I'll go in and I'll start emailing winners and whatnot.
Cool.
Now, another thing I wanted to address is the Patreon that I launched off the back of it. That was another thing that I did. One of the milestones actually involved the comic multiverse, and I have really great news that in, less than 2 days, we had already reached our first goal, and that is to be able to find a place to upload the comic multiverse, an actual podcast service for everyone who should want to download it.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That is awesome. And, I wanted to take the chance to actually, thank just a couple of the patrons. I know the ones who were there first and foremost. Dante and Trent, thank you guys so much. You were like number one and number two to give money to the patron. And, you're a huge part of the reason why the podcast will now have a home and while it'll now have a place for you to download it. I'm not going to unveil where just yet, and that's because Matt and I are still working on the specifics, and the money hasn't actually come in yet from the Patreon, so I haven't actually gone through the stuff yet. Excuse me. But when it does, you can bet... Oh, God, excuse me, some in my throat. This is a terrible time to get the coughs. But you can bet when it does, I will be sure to tell everyone where you can go and find it. Matt and I have been working really hard on that to roll that out and make sure that it looks really nice. He's actually showed me some artwork and some assets that he's working on for it. I think it's going to be real good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
It is. And again, I'm not going to spoil what service I went with, iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever. I'll just say that the one I went with seemed the most user-friendly for someone like me. It also offers an RSS feed and app support, because I know a lot of people like to listen to the show on their phones. And so with this service that I'm going to be going with in the near future, you will have a chance to do just that. So hopefully a lot of people are happy with this. I know it's been about 3 days now, and the Cape Joel Patreon has raised about $30, which, hey, you know what, that's nothing to scoff at. That's a decent amount of money moving into the future that will help keep the comic multiverse with a home for people to download it and help me out with some comics down the line and everything. So that's good. Thanks everyone who gave, and for those who wanted to give but couldn't. I understand. It's rough out there. We're in trying economic times. Everyone's trying to stretch that dollar for as far as it will go and everything. And I just want to reiterate here what I said in that video, and that is, nothing is going to change on the Cape Joel channel moving into the future. I'm not going to be pay blocking or pay gating, I think is the term, any content. You'll still be getting all the reviews and videos, but hey, if you want to become a patron, you might be getting some more videos, and you might be getting them earlier and everything. I know one of the goals is because we record this show on Monday, if I reach a certain goal, I will release the podcast to patrons early, should they want it.
That sounds good.
That is good. So yeah, that's just all the housekeeping and bookkeeping and stuff I wanted to do and get out of the way. Now we can reconvene the show as normal. So I'll just throw it over to Matt there and say, hey, how was your week, man?
My week's been really, 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 really busy.
Same here. We both had busy weeks. Tons of comics.
Oh, mine wasn't busy even with comics. I still have like over half comics to review, so I've
How
been
many do I
busy
have left?
outside.
Yeah, let me count them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 left.
That's about how much I have left.
Yeah, it's a crazy week. But what were you up to? Can you mention anything about it, or is it all hush hush?
No, I can. I'm just trying to think. I've done so much, and it's only Tuesday for me.
Yeah, Tuesday for you, still Monday for me.
I was doing like TV production stuff, and that's been
Nice.
keeping me really busy since I got a week coming up where I'm doing some directing stuff for a
Ooh.
national TV show. So
Ah, that'll be
I've
cool.
been getting ready for that, and it's getting pretty daunting.
Can you say the name of the show, or is it a show that our international fans wouldn't know about?
Oh, it's a show they definitely won't know about. It's called Connected. It's sort of like this variety show. Think sort of like a Jimmy Fallon type show
Uh-huh.
for like here in Australia.
Right.
And yeah, I'm doing some directing and stuff for
You know,
that.
because of that, the piracy rate for Connected will now go up because I know the
Oh,
com.
it's free. It's free to watch on the internet.
Oh, is
So
it really? Because I was going to say, because I know all the comic multiverse fans will want to go and support the episode you directed because they're going to want to go and check that out.
yeah, I think it's actually they actually have a YouTube, and it'll probably be on the YouTube or like their website or something.
Oh, killer, killer.
But yeah, that's been keeping me pretty busy.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, you know me, just a busy week with reviews and everything going on there. It was a gigantic week. I picked up a bunch of books that I don't normally read, and I'm sure we'll talk about that once we get into the what we read this week segment.
Yep,
I reviewed my first Superman comic, my first new 52 solo Superman comic this week.
I know. I watched your review.
And holy crap, was did we have trailers out the wazoo this week?
Oh God, yeah.
It was a gigantic trailer week. It was a big news week, and I guess with that I can hop into our first story, and that is Cloak and Dagger, the Marvel duo, will be getting a TV series from Freeform that's getting rushed right to production. No pilot, just right to production.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I know, like, people have wanted this for a while, and it was sort of like rumored that it might be happening, might not be happening, but yeah, it's happening now.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger was always on the wish list, and it was always surprising to me personally. It's like, oh well, where are they going to end up? Are they going to get a Netflix show? Are they going to go a little darker with it? Will they be getting a movie? Will they be showing up on Agents of Shield or that network? No, they're getting their own show, and it's from a channel that I've never heard of before called Freeform. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we don't get it in Canada, and we probably don't get it in Australia either.
Well, I think Freeform is a subsidiary of ABC. Like,
Right.
like from what I understand, because I was like reading about, because I didn't know what it was either, and from what I understand, like way back when it used to be like a TV show channel that was
Yeah.
dedicated to
It's
stuff like Christian stuff and
yeah.
like
I'm look.
evangelical people and
Okay.
whatnot.
See, I'm looking at it right now, and you're 100% right, Matt. It is owned by Disney and ABC.
Yeah, and then like recently they've just started changing it all up and trying to get it like all the millennials and
Yeah,
everything with
from
their
what
TV
people were
shows.
saying, they've gone into like a very young adult direction, and because of
Yeah,
that, they're saying that Cloak and Dagger might actually be the perfect fit because it's about two, oftentimes runaway teens in love and mixed race couple and everything, which is kind of cool because we haven't really seen anything like that on television.
no, I think it's going to be really interesting.
I think it has the potential to surprise a lot of people just by the very nature of what it is when you don't even think about the superhero side of it. How long do you think it's going to be until you get the same D-bags who railed against that Cheerios commercial because it had a white man and a black, or what is it, a black man and a white woman in it? Or do you think they're going to get ticked off at Cloak and Dagger?
Probably.
Gee,
Of course, I mean, of course, you know.
I can't wait for those articles. It's like, oh, they're a superhero team and they're a couple too. What do you mean they're a couple? Not
Hey,
on my
that
watch.
can't happen.
Not in Arkansas, I tell you.
Trump for president.
And then they put their tinfoil hats on and went to go listen to Alex Jones. But yeah, I mean, I think this is cool. I mean, Cloak and Dagger, they have a great look as far as heroes go. I mean, it's a simple look, the color black and the color white and everything.
Yeah, it can't get any more simpler than
Yeah,
that.
one can create energy weapons, one can create portals and everything. I think you could do a lot of interesting stuff with that show. Now, admittedly, I am not as well versed on Cloak and Dagger as I am other Marvel properties. What kind of characters do you think we would see show up in a Cloak and Dagger show?
No idea. I have don't know anything about them.
Yeah, because usually when I think heroes, I'm always like, well, okay, well, who will they fight then? Who are some Cloak and Dagger villains?
I have no idea.
I mean, shit, just to further date myself and make myself sound weird, the most Cloak and Dagger I probably read was the Ultimate version of Cloak and Dagger that showed up in the Ultimate universe before that universe went kaput.
What was their deal?
Basically, they were experimented on by an evil corporation who was experimenting on other kids. And they were like high school sweethearts, and like they were in a horrible accident before the prom and stuff. Bendis actually did a really good job, pretty much compressing their entire story into like just like one little issue backup.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. I'm looking at some stuff for them now because it always has like related characters.
Yeah.
They used to be combined in a bi-monthly title with Doctor Strange, if you can believe it, or a double feature in Strange Tales.
Oh, cool.
Wouldn't that be funny if we had some magical overlap with Doctor Strange?
Yeah, well, their powers could be seen as magical, especially Cloak's powers.
Totally. They were also made numerous guest appearances in The Runaways, and I know The Runaways is one of those things that's also kind of been on the table for a bit, and it's like, well, are they going to do something with The Runaways at some point?
Yeah, Kevin Feige's been trying to get it made for a while, but he's just trying to get it in the right position, I think.
Yeah, another Brian K. Vaughan creation. Now, isn't one of the problems with The Runaways is that some of them are mutants, and that causes an issue?
I think so. I think that's what he's trying to like work out, like whether he can turn any of them into
Inhumans, yeah.
or something.
Molly Hayes is the big one. That's the one everyone really liked, the big, strong one. Who I remember because she actually showed up in Bendis's run as part of like the evil Brotherhood of the Future, and that ticked a lot of people off. Where it's like, no, Molly Hayes can't be evil, and Bendis is like, okay, fine, they all had their minds controlled. Are you happy now? Except for these other two characters, though, because I am Bendis and that's how I get to play it. But yeah, I mean, overall, cool stuff. I am interested in a Cloak and Dagger TV show. I think that's cool that they're kind of branching out, and even more so than branching out, doing like, hey, here's a show with people with powers. Because I think that's the way the winds are blowing now. I know that wasn't what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like when it started, but it got there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely Cloak and Dagger, thumbs up for me. We will keep you posted on that as news develops. Another interesting development, and this happened kind of just recently, apparently Inhumans, the movie, got pushed back again.
Yeah, I just saw that like not 20 minutes ago.
That's weird. That kind of makes me wonder where it's like, geez, I hope you guys aren't losing faith in Inhumans right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
The big prevailing theory, or at least the one I read, is that Inhumans got pushed back because of Indy 5, or because of work they're starting with Indy 5, and they didn't want a superhero movie to cut into their Indy thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which, geez, that's kind of got to be a slap in the face for Inhumans, where it's like, look, you get bumped for Indy 5. Yes, you get bumped for the sequel to Crystal Skull.
Where was it taking place in anyway? Was it between the Infinity War movies?
I think that's where it was supposed to go.
Well, then they could always like appear in the Infinity War movies and just like a cameo or something.
That's true. Maybe they're getting such good feedback for how Black Panther and Spider-Man did in Civil War. They're like, well, maybe we should do that with the Inhumans then.
Yeah, like just have a little cameo somewhere.
Right, and then blow it up from there.
Yeah, and they're on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment.
That's true. So
everyone seems to like them, so yeah.
So it's not like people are going to forget them or anything. It is funny to think where it's like, I imagine somewhere at the Disney offices, like some money man, some bigwig was probably thinking, well, can we combine the Inhumans and Indiana Jones into one movie? I mean, we already did Aliens in the last one. Think about it. Indian Short Round, who's all grown up now, they go to the ruins of New Attilan, and they meet Black Bolt and the royal family of Inhumans.
they find a Terrigen skull.
Yep.
And they got to return it to the temple.
They got to do it, and like a bunch of other evil Inhumans are after them. They got to fight Lash. We'll put Lash in here. Why not?
Yeah, Lash. He's working with the Nazis.
Of course. Oh yeah, right. Because I guess that's what the time it would be. Because it would have to be a period piece, is what it would have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're joking, but there's a movie in here somewhere. People, Indiana Jones versus the Inhumans. And then at the end, Short Round, who is all grown up and played by that guy from The Walking Dead, realizes that he too has inhuman powers to be the world's greatest archaeologist, and Indy gives him his hat, and then Short Round becomes the new Indiana Jones.
No, Indy gets infected by the Terrigen mist, and he goes into the cocoon and comes out as Chris Pratt.
And that's how you explain it for a new series of indie films. How
That
Harrison Ford turned
his
into
power is that he can't die.
That's
And he
amazing.
regenerates.
Look, again, we're writing a stellar movie right here. Man, and you know that's what they're going to do for Indy, too. They're either going to find a way to make him young again, or they're going to find a way for him to, pass the baton to a younger actor.
Yeah, and it won't be Shia
And it
LaBeouf.
won't be Shia LaBeouf. Not now. They're not going to do it now. They might have done it before, but then he embraced his crazy. God, can you remember that when Shia LaBeouf was just that harmless kid from Holes and Even Steven?
Yeah. What happened, man?
Man, he just went for it. He just, leaned right into being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And in a weird way, I kind of like him more now that he's owning his craziness and go, I'm out of my mind.
Yeah, yeah. He's not like hiding it or anything.
No, he's as Dave Chappelle would say, he's keeping it real, man.
Yeah, that's like not too long ago. He did a live stream where he spent like 12 hours in an elevator and just like rode the elevator up and down with like people just getting in and stuff. It was at like some university or something.
And what
I,
weird
I have
art
no
point?
idea.
What weird art point was he trying to make about that?
I don't know. And a couple of weeks before that, he like invited everyone to come watch his movies with him for like 40 straight hours or something, and there was a live feed of him watching his own
That's
movies.
right, I remember that.
Uh,
Man, I know we've had this conversation before, but I always thought it was weird, the idea of actors watching their own movies. Because you figure, and I know not every actor does it, but you figure by the time they're done with every premiere, like in London and Toronto and New York and everything, they've probably seen their own movie a dozen times.
yeah, well, I know some actors like they go for the like red carpet stuff and then they leave like a little once the movie started a little bit because they
Yeah.
need to go to somewhere else to do a press junket or something.
And some actors just straight up don't watch their own movies, like Laurence Olivier, for as far as I know, doesn't watch his own movies.
Yeah, or Paul Bettany, he's never seen any of the Marvel movies, yet he's been in most of them.
Yeah, how weird is that? Where it's like, come on, like maybe I'm just more shameless in my love and adoration of myself, but I will just watch a movie and just watch the parts I'm in and going, man, I'm kicking ass in this. Nicolas Cage probably watches his own movies and critiques his performance. Yes, that's good, but you could always be just a little weirder. In the next one, I'll have to be even weirder and even more inhuman.
I'll paint a skull on my face and act like Ghost Rider.
Now there's casting right there. Nicolas Cage is blackballed.
Oh God.
Imagine a Nicolas Cage performance where he's not allowed to talk, where he just has to be weird with body motions.
He could probably do it.
He's the sort of weirdo who would take that role. Okay, look, I'll be blackballed and I'm not going to say a thing.
I'm not going to say a thing the whole production, including when we're off take.
Yeah, because I'm a method actor and I get into character.
Because if I do, I'll kill everyone.
Nicolas Cage for a whole year literally doesn't say a word because it's like, no, my voice will kill you all. It's hard work being the king of the Inhumans. I like you and I have dueling cages going on right now. Oh, then I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. Man, most actors, it's like, I'll do one movie for me and one movie for the general public. For Nicolas Cage, it's like, I'll do one movie for the general public, then 5 for nobody.
Yeah.
Next. And that's actually a perfect segue, because our next news story, apparently Brian Michael Bendis, and we were talking about Bendis already, may have let it slip that he's working on a new Jessica Jones comic series.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was given an interview, and apparently he may have very well let that slip. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't, after the success of the Netflix show, try and do another Jessica Jones show.
Yeah, because I know like when the show was coming out, they actually released all her previous books, like just Alias, in like a big omnibus.
You mean all of her one story?
Yes.
All of her one
yeah,
story.
they released that, and apparently it sold really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see them working on a new series.
The question is, for this new Jessica Jones series, would it be a period piece back in the time before her and Luke Cage got together when she was still being a private investigator, or would it take place in the modern continuity and it would show her as like a wife and a mother and everything?
I don't know.
Because that's always been like a big critique of Jessica Jones as a character, that she was this cool, hard drinking, hard fighting PI, and then the second she fell in love and had kids, she just drifted further and further into the background until she was just a supporting player in other people's books.
Well, if he was smart, he could do a story about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe,
About how she just became nothing.
yeah, maybe she's a little fed up with her lot in life right now. Maybe she's got to like leave her kid with someone else and go, okay, I'm getting back in the field.
Yeah, she go leave the kid with Spider Woman.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd like that. Jess, look after my kid. I'm going out to Private Eye. Or, wouldn't it be funny if it's like it's Jessica Jones in like, if they kind of do that take on like the suburban hellscape where it's like her at like mommy and me classes and soccer games and she's like, this is bullshit. I used to be somebody.
Yeah, and she's like dreaming about like assassins invading the soccer game, and she's got to kill them all or something.
She's like, man.
And then she snaps back to reality.
She's like,
And her
man,
kid
I'd
wants
love
orange slices.
Yeah, she's like handing out the orange slices like, man, I wish I could drink again. Man, I had a lot of fun back in those days. That would be an interesting story because you often see that story from a man's point of view. You rarely ever see it from a woman's point of view, and I think they could do it really well with Jessica Jones. Hey, Brian Michael Bendis, that's our pitch, in case you're wondering. I mean, I'm sure you already have your own pitch because you're like the only one who stayed really invested in this character and was sure to put her in everything you did. So just throwing it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Brian Michael Bendis has years worth of Jessica Jones stories he wanted to tell but never could.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Moving on from there. Ooh, hey Matt, do you like comic book events?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they can be pretty cool.
they're all right depending on the one. Pleasant Hill's pretty awesome, but apparently they're already teasing the next big X-Men event. They teased it before, but now they're saying it might be coming sooner than we think. Like it might actually spin out of the events of Apocalypse War, which is going on right now, and that is Death of X. What could that mean? That could literally mean anything.
Yeah, that means someone on an X-Men or someone with an X gene is gonna die.
Is going to die, or they're all going to die, or is this the death of the X gene completely because of the Terrigen Mist?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, like, it's such a vague title, Death of X. It really could mean anything.
Yeah, I have no idea what it would mean.
I don't know what you could really do with the X-Men at this point. I mean, you've already sterilized them and said no more new mutants will be born. You've quite literally sent the X-Men team to limbo to live now. And yet, despite that, we still have like 4 or 5 ongoing X-Men books going right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, unless you're going to cancel all those books, which I don't think you're going to do, because I think they're actually selling pretty decently.
Yeah, and there's an X-Men movie coming out.
And there's another X-Men movie coming out. Man, Marvel is in a weird place with X-Men. It's like we hate you and we don't want anything to do with you. Ah, but you're paying the rent though, so we really can't ask you to leave. just stand over there in the corner where we don't have to look at you or acknowledge you.
they're the redheaded stepchild.
They are now. And then it's like when a big event like Civil War 2 comes out, the X-Men are like, hey, can we join too? Can we have a book? Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to fight the Inhumans. We don't know. You won't get to be on any of the posters. Let's put it that way. But what about me, Wolverine? I'm on all the posters. No, not even you.
No, you're old or dead.
Yeah, you're literally old now. Man, that's got to be something for Wolverine. You're either old, dead, or a woman, depending on how you look at it. No, we know X-23 isn't just the female Wolverine. She is a Wolverine who, earned the mantle and happens to be a woman, but Man, I fell in behind on the X-23 Wolverine book, which is unfortunate because it's been really cool.
It has been really good.
Yeah, Tom Taylor. I'll have to catch up on that. There's a bunch of books I got to catch up on. I guess from there we can move over to trailer talk. And as I mentioned at the start of this, it was a good week for trailers, wasn't it?
It was.
Now, I could talk about Rogue One, but I would much rather allot my time to you, Matt, so you can gush about Rogue One. So please go ahead and talk about Rogue One.
Where do I start? This trailer kind of came out of nowhere.
It did. It literally did.
They're like at the start of last week. They're like, "Hey guys, you want to see Rogue One trailer? Tune into this show on this day." And we were like, "What? What's happening?" And then we got the trailer, and it looked amazing.
Great,
It looked absolutely amazing.
great use or remix there of the classic Star Wars theme in the opening.
Yeah, this is the first movie that John Williams isn't scoring.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know who the guy is scoring, but it's not John Williams, and I guess he's going to be remixing a lot of John Williams' familiar themes.
If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't even have known. Good call.
Yeah, I know that. I like didn't know. I thought like, oh wow, John Williams did some Rogue One stuff, and then I found out that it was some other guy.
Now, what would you call this movie? Because it's not quite a sequel. It's not quite a sequel or prequel. It's not quite a midquel. Like, what is this?
And inter prequel.
Yeah, I like that inter prequel because obviously this takes place after the events of the prequels and everything because this is this is the story of the Bothans who got the plans for the Death Star. Force Awakens is still way in the future. If anything, it's closer to Rebels than it is anything else.
It is. I think this would be taking place just after Rebels,
Yeah.
maybe. And I think it's within the months leading up to uh, uh, A New Hope,
Right, right.
because they're still in the Death Star plans, and at the start of A New Hope, we see the Death Star plans getting to Princess Leia. So yeah,
I never thought I would have such a huge pop moment when I saw Ma Mothel there in the Rebel base and everything.
that was pretty cool, and it's even cooler that she's played by the same actress who played her in Revenge of the
Is
Sith.
she really? See, I just thought they got a look-alike. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice little bit of continuity there.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. See, now I like that bit even more. You'll remember Ma Mothel because she was one of only two women in A New Hope. It was her. It was her and Aunt Beru.
Yeah, oh, and Princess Leia.
Oh, Wayne Leia. Oh, yeah. Okay, three. There was three. Yeah. I meant ones who weren't Princess Leia. Now, I guess because I've kind of brought that up. Oh no, one more thing before we tackle that. Man, how cool is it to see Forrest Whitaker in weird Star Wars armor?
Yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere. I knew he was in the movie, but I didn't know what he's going to be playing. I said in my breakdown, he's probably going to be like an Obi-Wan type,
Ah, old
like
wise.
the old mentor sort of thing.
I like it. His
Yeah,
his armor was very intimidating with all the spikes and pauldrons and everything.
yeah, it looked really cool.
It did. It's funny. I'm thinking to myself, man, what's spookier, Forrest Whitaker's lazy eye or Mark Strong's spooky tooth? What's scarier? And then I thought to myself, man, why isn't Mark Strong in one of these Star Wars movies?
I think he will be soon. I think he will be.
Where did Mark Strong go? Mark Strong was like in everything for a year.
Isn't he on like a TV show at the moment or something?
You're not thinking of like Low.
Oh, he's making like Kingsman 2 at the moment.
Oh,
So.
yes, that's right. He was good in that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, as with any big nerd topic, and especially with the last couple of Star Wars, the internet was abuzz with controversy because apparently in this world filled with aliens, monsters, laser swords, and warrior monks who can control objects with their mind, a certain set of people were angry because, God, this movie's starring a vagina person. I can't handle that.
Vagina person.
That's my new thing,
Yeah,
though.
out of everything, they're concerned with the gender of the lead character.
Where it's like, there's like 9 or like 6 other movies, guys, where there's a female lead. You're going to be getting a Han Solo and Boba Fett movie, right?
Yeah. Why? Who cares?
How about you just be happy that you're getting good Star Wars movies now?
Yeah, it's a fucking Star Wars movie. What the fuck's the problem?
Yeah, just black stormtrooper, vagina person can't handle it.
And of course with them, that everyone is saying that Felicity Jones's character is Rey's mother.
Yeah, that's an odd
Because,
jump
because
to
they're
make.
women.
It's like, because all women are related apparently. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
All women are related.
Yeah. Just like how all black people in Star Wars are related.
Yeah, because Finn has to be the son of Lando.
Yeah, and Lando is the son of Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, it's all related because everyone is related. What an odd thing there. Oh, I liked for a second there the new lady who we're following donned what honestly looked like Inquisitor armor.
Yeah, no, I think it's like TIE pilot armor or like some type of pilot armor or something.
Right. It looked cool.
Like
That's all I know.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and the bad guy in this looks really cool as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He's wearing the Grand Admiral costume, and he's got like a cane gun.
Yeah, I like that the bad guy in this is just going to be an admiral. We're not doing another Darth or another Sith. In fact, by the looks of it, it looks like we might not see any Jedis in this.
Oh, well, I think Darth Vader's like been rumored to be in it,
Right, of course, because
but I don't
what an
think he'll
awesome
be like
cameo.
a main character. I don't think he'll be a main character.
Another awesome thing, we see that dude from the raid beating the crap out of someone with a stick.
I don't think that guy was from the raid. That's what's his name?
Donnie
Donnie Yen.
Yen, Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
watched the raid the other night. Joel can't tell Asian people apart.
Oh, you're racist.
You know, Donnie Wahlberg. Yeah, he was beating that guy with a stick. You know. Don DeLuise beating up that guy in space with a stick. That was a great part. I'm so psyched for this movie. Another great bit I liked is we got to see, those Imperial walkers shooting at the rebels on a beach for a change. Very, very Normandy-esque and very, reminiscent of all the fights on Hoth, only now it's sand instead of snow.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool to see. Especially like I seen the set photos from that when they were shooting it, and they had like stormtrooper bodies all in the water and in the surf and everything, and all the set was like blowing up and everything. It's going to look really cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. I like this idea that it's, going to be more smuggler based and everything. I like that it's going to be like a big team movie. Apparently Alan Tudyk from Firefly is going to be playing a robot.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that.
This is going to be fun. Man, did you ever think we'd live in a world where it's like, hey, Matt, every year, every December now, you're going to be getting a new Star Wars movie?
That's pretty cool.
Geez, there was a time when I would have just taken, getting a good Star Wars movie after the prequels.
Yeah.
Our cup runneth over, be it a different comic book movie every month, now Star Wars on top of it.
I know, it's a great time to be alive.
Times are good. I tell you, times are good. And moving on from one trailer to another, the other big trailer that came out this week, it came out as part of the MTV Movie Awards, which obviously I didn't watch, but I didn't have to, because literally within a minute of the trailer premiering, it was already up on the internet, and that is the third Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I'm still not sold on the Joker.
Right. Well,
But,
he was
but
barely
everything
in this
else
one.
looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, man. The guy who's picking the music for these trailers, first it was the Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and now Blitz by the Sweet Man. Whoever's picking these songs, that man deserves a raise and a promotion right now. It's like the movie is probably going to be great. The soundtrack I know is going to be great. Can I buy the soundtrack right now? Yeah, it seems like they got some interesting stuff going on there. I'm sure you saw the joke I made on Twitter, and I'm sure you were thinking the same thing when that trailer opens and the shadowy cabal of government types are being like, what's stopping Superman from tearing open the roof to the White House and killing the president right now? We need a deterrent. And if this were any other Superman story, you'd be like, hey, government guy, you're overreacting. Superman's looking out for us. But in this DC Snyder murderverse,
Like, yeah, you could do that on a bad day.
yeah, I mean, well, the president better not piss him off.
Yeah, better not hurt his mum.
Yeah, better not, Martha, better not do anything with her. Better not be a third, I mean, for a guy who can punch third world dictators through walls, the president better watch out.
Yeah, I kind of laugh when they made it seem like, oh, we're gonna make the Suicide Squad a Superman deterrent. I'm like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, 6 D-list villains, yeah, they'll do great against Superman.
Yeah, Deadshot and his guns.
But you give him a kryptonite bullet, though, and he's got a chance.
Like, he's got to catch Superman first.
Well, in fairness, movie Superman's not that tough. Batman was able to beat him to a standstill. With just a little bit of kryptonite gas. But yeah, I love the idea that in this new universe, I'm like, yeah, you do need a Superman deterrent. You do need a group of ragtag villains to protect you from, the murdering Superman and the torturing, branding Batman.
Yeah, well, like I said a while ago, I'm wondering if like these like Suicide Squad members are actually going to be the heroes, and like they're not actually going to kill people like the heroes of that world do.
Well, the irony is,
it's going to be a reverse.
Well, it's funny. It looks in this movie like they're fighting monsters or some sort of like magical zombie or something.
Yeah, like nondescript, generic henchmen guys that
Hmm.
look really weird.
And that when you hit them, they basically turn to dust.
Yeah,
So already by comic book logic, well, technically that's not murder because they were already dead or they were, lifeless abominations, so it's fine.
yeah. Also, Aya's Batman already looks better than Snyder's. He looks a lot thinner.
Yeah, for
He's
whatever
not this big
reason.
roided up dude bro or whatever.
Yeah, for what we only see him for a couple seconds. I honestly wonder how much Batman is going to be in this movie because it looks like we're going to get an extended chase, assumedly showing how Harley Quinn got arrested and got put on the squad.
Yeah, and I imagine he would show up somewhere. Do we know what city it's set in?
No, well, they filmed it in Toronto, but no.
Yeah, because like that's like another problem I have. Like in the DC comics, like all these different cities, like Metropolis, Gotham, Central City,
Hmm.
Keystone, they all look different. They all have a specific look. Like Gotham's all gothic and dark and
Hmm.
everything, whereas Metropolis is all like new, futuristic and everything.
Hmm.
Here in these movies, they all look the same.
It's a
They all
little,
look like Chicago.
it's a little hard to tell. It's a little difficult.
And it doesn't help that, like, whenever these guys fight, they seem to fight, like, at night or at that time of
Mm.
day where the sun's just on the horizon and it's in the background of every shot.
Now you mentioned Leto's Joker there. I wonder if you picked up on this. It looks like Harley falls into the water and Batman jumps in to save her because he's got a rebreather on and everything. I get the distinct feeling that like during that chase scene, Joker like sacrifices Harley and like throws her off the thing, and Batman's got to go save her. Which
Yeah, like, throw. Is that with the car? In the car?
I'm going to assume, or at least something close to that, because that would explain why Harley is in jail, but the Joker is not, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
Which would also explain why she doesn't like him anymore and why, they're kind of fighting and she's doing her own thing. Because it's like, oh, he literally tried to sacrifice you.
Yeah, yeah. And also, this shows that I think people were pointing out that there was a scene of the Joker where he actually had his real teeth in.
Oh.
So it
Interesting.
was like a flashback. So I guess that sort of negates that whole Jason Todd is the Joker, or a Robin is the Joker rumor that was going around.
Oh, that
So
theory's
yeah,
never going to go away, sadly.
yeah, they'll find something else like, oh, this strand of hair was out of place, just like how Dick Grayson had it in the costume or something.
Well, I love
It'll
that.
they'll fucking come up with
I love
something.
that theory came back again after Batman v Superman. It's like, oh, well, this Batman is much more brutal and kills his foes. Why is the Joker still alive? Oh, because the Joker's Jason Todd. That's why. And I'm like, that's dumb, and yet you actually kind of make a thing where it's like, yeah, I could see that happening though. And if so, then I guess I will be the dumb one. But yeah, I mean, Suicide Squad looks cool. Like I said, amazing soundtrack. Shit, even Jai Courtney made me laugh. What can I say when I'm actually excited for something Jai Courtney is in?
It's the end of days.
It's the end of days when Jai Courtney actually seems pretty entertaining.
Hey, all he's just playing an Australian.
He's,
He doesn't have to act.
Jai Courtney's just being Jai Courtney, mate.
That's all he's doing. He's just being himself.
Jai
That's
Courtney
probably what like David Ayer said to him. Like just be yourself, man. Just be yourself.
Jai Courtney wakes up every morning, puts on a little flight hat, and throws a bunch of boomerangs around every day.
Well, he's got to catch his breakfast somehow.
Yeah, people forget that the boomerang was a hunting weapon meant to stun prey. Not a killing weapon, a stunning weapon. It's funny, believe it or not, I don't know if you feel the same way, but El Diablo kind of stole this newest trailer, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know really a lot about him.
No one does because he's such a D-lister. They really play up the idea that he might be the strongest one on the team, and that is because he has actual metahuman abilities, and he's not just a guy who's good with guns, a guy or a woman who's good with swords, or a guy with a skin problem.
Yeah, yeah. He seems him and I guess Enchantress, who I guess is the villain of this.
Maybe again, we know very little about what the team is actively fighting, but a lot of people have theorized, and I have too. You don't see any more shots of Enchantress when they're actually in the city.
Yeah, so either she's like a villain, like controlled by someone, or
Or
yeah.
something. The fact that they're fighting magical forces definitely makes me think, yeah, she's probably the bad guy on this one.
But like that also begs the question, like if she was on the Suicide Squad to begin with. Like when she went rogue or anything, why didn't Waller just blow up her head?
Yeah, well, magic. That's why. Actually, you kind of see the surgery room in this trailer if you stopped it and looked at all the different scenes
Yeah,
like I did. It's a
yeah,
suitably
yeah.
creepy room.
They get like injected with, I guess, the explosive or something.
Yeah, they're nano bombs. I say too, and I still stand by this. And that if I'm right, you all owe me a Coke, vanilla or cherry. That Slipknot will be the guy to die first because you never
Oh
see
God,
him.
yeah. Oh God, he's gonna be the one like that scene you see him in the trailer where he's ziplining up in a building. I think that's like him going like, "I'm out, guys, see ya," and he'll
Boom.
like get so far and then his head will explode.
Which, you know what? In that case, I give the creators of this movie all the credit in the world for casting a well known, recognizable character actor like Adam Beach, giving him a full costume, putting him in all the trailers and on all the posters, and then to just kill him off in the movie like they probably will.
Yeah, and also you notice like in that scene where they're like getting them all suited up, like getting them all out of prison and everything. He's already in his costume as well.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, it
So
looks
like
like
maybe he was just out there somewhere and they just we'll get him. He's expendable.
yeah, it looks like they just dropped him off already dressed up.
Yeah,
It looks like the FBI is the ones dropping him off actually.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I guess with that, that's pretty much everything we can say about Suicide Squad. Pretty cool, pretty excited for it. Man, the soundtrack on that one kicks ass.
Yeah, if anything, it gets points for not having Zack Snyder as director.
That too, and man, is DC probably gonna, or Warner Brothers, I should say, man, are they gonna have a lot of weird conflicted feelings if when Suicide Squad gets better reviews and makes more money.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want them to like, if that does happen, I don't want them to go like, right, well, now we've got it. So like now every movie they do is going to be Suicide Squad.
It's got
Like
every movie's got to
the
be about
feel and
villains
everything.
now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want them to do that.
Wouldn't that be
And I
a
have a
weird?
feeling that like if it is successful, they will do that.
Wouldn't that be a weird DC universe? Okay, every villain gets a movie now.
Yeah, heroes are the villains of the villain movies.
Coming summer 2016, it's Two-Face. Man, I joke, but you could probably make a really awesome Two-Face movie wherein he's the lead.
Coming in 2020, the Fiddler.
The Fiddler. What does he do? He fiddles. Does he do
Yeah,
anything?
not in the rapey way though.
It's like no. That's another movie. That's the Diddler. That's the sequel. Where it gets even darker. Man, I joke about that, but it's so true. Like, most of the Batman villains, you could probably write really solid movies around. Like, Mr. Freeze, wherein he's the main character, you could tell, like, a really sad drama about a scientist who falls in love, but his wife gets sick, and so he cryogenically freezes her and commits crimes at night in an ice suit.
Yeah.
Those movies would be funny, too, to tell them from the villain's point of view, because then you actually could like frame the heroes as the bad guys, like this poor Mr. Freeze. I just keep trying to save my wife, but this freak in a bat costume keeps screwing with me every time.
Yeah, well, the best villains are the ones that don't know they're doing anything bad.
Yeah.
That they believe what they're doing is good.
And
So
who
yeah.
believes what they're doing more than Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Warner Brothers, there's an idea. I am kind of afraid of the future, and yet at the same time I am kind of interested by it. If Suicide Squad does really good and if people love Jared Leto's performance so much, wouldn't it be something where they're like, you know what would make a lot of money? A solo Joker movie.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with it, especially since this movie seems to like go through his origins at least or something.
Yeah, because you couldn't make it an origin story.
Yeah.
I like it too, like I said, this idea where it looks like Joker kind of offers up Harley so he can get away. That's a piece of characterization the Joker has never had in the movies, and it's something I'm glad they're doing here for this Suicide Squad. They're kind of painting him as like the ultimate bad boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
The Joker, he forgets your birthdays, he doesn't call you the night after. He's genuinely a dickbag. He's the worst boyfriend ever. And with that, I guess we can transition on over to the comics we read this week.
Awesome.
I will let you go first, Matt, because I need to get my.
Okay, where's my list? Alright, so yeah, I had some pretty cool comics this week. The first one I read this week was Poe Dameron issue 1.
See, I missed that one. I got Superman this week, but I missed Poe Dameron. How was Poe?
pretty cool. It's going to be filling in all the gaps in The Force Awakens.
Nice.
This one, it shows Poe assembling Black Squadron
Ah,
for a mission to look for Lor San Tekka, that old guy at the start of Force Awakens.
cool.
They need to find him, or Leia needs to find him, because he knows where Luke will be. Because the guy used to be an explorer, and he used to like explore Jedi temples and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, Poe's looking for him, and he finds a civilization that lives inside a cave
Oh.
near this really weird like egg thing. And they had Lore with them. He like sort of studied them and everything, and that's why they're keeping his secrets and everything, because he's basically one of them now.
Friggin'
And
cave people,
yeah,
am I right?
yeah, and then Poe's trying to get all the information out of him, and then he finds a tracker on his ship that alerted the First Order of where he is. So the First Order are coming in. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
I'll probably enjoy that quite a bit. Another comic I read this week, and I'm certain you read it too, Superman number 51, the kickoff to Super League.
I did read it. It was pretty damn good.
It was cool. I think it's so weird that the first Superman comic I read in the New 52 that's just solo Superman, not connected to any crossovers, not Superman Batman, not Superman Wonder Woman. Literally the first page has New 52 Superman going, I'm dying.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool. And what's even cooler, this comic finally connects like Justice League America, Action Comics Superman, and Justice League.
Yeah, it actually does. It does a better job connecting all these events than any of those other books did.
Yeah, in one panel,
All it took was
Peter
one panel.
Tomasi, it was just one panel. He sorted everything
Good
out.
on you, sir. And I like just, this is Superman going, wow, all these horrible events that I put my body through in like the last year or whatever, what's going to kill me?
Yeah, and as you said in your review, I like that he's angry that he can't help the world more than he already has.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's angry with himself, not that he's going to die, but because he can't do more.
He acted more like Superman in that one moment than I think he's acted like Superman, and I'm sure you will agree, the bulk of New 52 stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's been a couple here and there, but this is the most he's acted like Superman.
It's like, man, only at the end, only when faced with the grim specter of death do you actually kind of man up and become something close to the Superman we all liked, which, ironically, this story seems to state or argue that there's going to be a bunch of Supermans running around.
Yeah, he's looking at, like, maybe filling the hole he's going to be leaving.
Yeah, we kind of get the seed planted for that Chinese Superman because a Chinese hacker steals a bunch of information from the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, and then goes and activates some thing that I imagine is that thing we saw a couple of pages later on that crashes into that guy's truck.
Is it because I thought that was something completely different, that like weird solar flare Superman, which hilariously I thought that was actually like Red Electric Superman back for a second.
Well, I'm just assuming, mainly because of like how the comic was set up, like she's going to activate this being, and then we get this guy who's on the run from the cops, and his truck gets hit by like this light, and then he comes out of it as this Superman. Yeah.
I like it too how he's kind of trying to like patch things up with Lois and basically being like, look, I know you outed my identity and everything, but because I'm going to die and because this is ultimately not going to matter because I'm going to die, I want you to write my story and I want you to tell the world what kind of person I was and all the good I tried to do.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. It's sort of being hinted in the last couple of issues of Superman and Action Comics where they've been sort of mending their relationship after that, and like Superman knows why Lois outed his secret identity and everything. He understands that, and he's like trying to patch it all up and everything.
It's also kind of perfect too because you ask once they out Superman's identity, it's like, well, how do you ever put that genie back in the bottle ever? Oh, we'll just kill him. There you go.
Yeah, then he'll fly around the world in reverse time.
Super fast.
He'll kiss everyone.
Kiss everyone. Oh man, that's a story I want someone to write. Superman just kissing everyone on Earth to make them forget. Because people forget Superman has that power. If he kisses you, he can induce amnesia. It's a well-known power. All Kryptonians can do it. Makes things very awkward on their planet. Very, very awkward. Just Superman being like, "Come here, Jimmy. Come here, Perry. Come here, Lex." He's just like, "Oh man, I think you gave Lex too much tongue there. I think he's a little brain dead now. You went too hard, Superman. Oops. Sorry." Bruce is like, if you come near me, I will use this kryptonite ring. Don't you dare come near me.
Bruce just puts kryptonite lipstick on.
Ah, there you go. It's a compound Poison Ivy helped me develop. My lips look beautiful emerald green, and also it will defeat you. Superman, nah, man, I'm so quick I kissed you when you weren't looking. Damn it. But yeah, Superman 51. Man, did I pick a weird time to start reading Superman, but I think I picked a good time to start reading the main Superman books.
Yeah, this Super League sounds like it's going to be pretty damn cool.
And yes, for all of you out there who haven't read anything and want to know if it's a good jumping on point, yes, it is a good jumping on point.
It is. It fills you in all the details.
They really do. What else did you have happen this week, Matt?
I had Superman coming off the Superman issue 3.
Yes, you've been enjoying that.
Still fucking insane, crazy Neil Adams.
See, it was too weird for me for the first issue. I'm like, man, I am not near Silver Age enough for this.
Oh god damn it, it's so Silver Age it's not even funny. But it was pretty cool. Superman goes to New Krypton and like fights parademons and faces down Calabac because Calabac took that little Iranian boy that Superman brought home with him.
Oh no, not his little buddy.
Yeah, and Superman's trying to figure out like why is he taking this kid? Is this kid important? Like, what are these Supermen like? Why are they here? And we sort of get a little bit of it. Like the Supermen have fought Darkseid before since he's invading New Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
But since they've spent so much time under Red Sun, their powers are still in their infancy.
Right.
So they can't defeat any of his forces because they're too underpowered. But Superman has lived his whole life under a yellow sun, so he can defeat him.
I like that little Iranian boy who he saved from a war zone and brought back to him with Metropolis because he had nowhere else to go. It was kind of like, hey, Jimmy, you better watch out or Superman might find a new best buddy. Sorry, Jimmy, you're getting too old. This is my new best buddy now. I got a new model.
Here, little kid, have Jimmy's camera.
Yeah, have his camera and his communicator watch. I'm just going to call you Jimmy too now.
Here, have a bow tie.
But I don't want a bow tie. Wear the bow tie. Bow ties are out of date. No, they're retro cool.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool issue, and Orion turned up at the end.
Oh, nice. I always like Orion. Whenever I read Orion...
He's riding that bike thing he has as well.
That weird bike future boom tube thing that he has. That very old-timey design there. That very Jack Kirby creation.
Yeah.
But whenever I read Orion, I always read him in Ron Perlman's voice because Ron Perlman voiced him in the cartoon.
That's true, yeah. I forgot about that.
That's always what I do. So yeah, Coming of the Superman, still wonderfully weird if you want a Silver Age, kind of throwback.
Yeah.
I had Justice League Darkseid War Special issue #1 because, apparently this storyline wasn't long enough. It needed a special now.
Yeah, I read this one too. They're trying to make Steve Trevor a thing.
They're trying so hard, and yet he barely says or does anything in this issue. He's tied up for the majority of this issue. It's just like, no, stop trying to make Steve Trevor happen. Just stop it.
It's not going to happen. And it's even funnier. They're trying to make him happen, but then they say, like, no, he wasn't the first man on Themyscira.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They take away, like, his one thing that was, like, his.
The one thing that he could genuinely do, yeah, the one claim to fame he actually did have. The rest of the story is actually, like, a Grail origin story, and I'm sure you asked this question, too. It's like, why are we only getting this character's origin now, this late in the game?
Yeah, shouldn't we have gotten this, like, during Act 1?
Yeah, considering that she was, like, the new character who came out of nowhere. Heck, she was in the special free comic book day lead up to this.
Yeah.
It was all about her, but no, apparently, you get it now. I mean, it wasn't a bad origin. In fact, I kind of like this idea how they set her up as, like, a dark mirror to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's technically Wonder Woman's sister.
Spiritual sister, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Spiritual sister, and again, they reinforce how mean-spirited and shitty the new 52 Amazons are, where it's like, she saw the queen give birth, kill her.
Yeah, the new 52 Amazons are kind of bitches.
They're a little murder happy, and you know what? I'm usually not cool with that word, but you know what? Yeah, they kind of are. There's a lot of bitchiness on that island to go around.
You're like, ah, there's men on the island, kill them all.
And rape sailors while we're at it, and also kill the male children but keep the female ones. I'm like, wow, that's dark. I mean, yeah, it's probably true to life if Amazons were real, but goddamn,
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
I know I've railed against this before. Although I think someone told me later the male babies actually didn't die; they just went to go live with Hephaestus at the fort. To where I'm like, oh, good, indentured servitude.
That was up until like the last like couple of issues of Wonder Woman where they were all brutally murdered.
Oh, they were all murdered again.
Yeah, they were all murdered by Donna Troy.
Man, they just can't catch a break, those poor dudes. Whoa, well. But yeah, I mean, that issue was interesting. The other story kind of focused on Jessie Cruz and her overcoming the evil of her power ring, and I guess, continuing her march to becoming a Green Lantern, which we knew was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it was setting her up for that Green Lantern book that she's going to have with Baz.
Yeah. I like, too, the big stinger of that is like, and don't worry, everyone, Cyborg is alive, too.
Yeah, and he's human.
Again,
and
kind of.
not cyborgish.
Well, I assume that was just his consciousness downloaded into the ring.
Oh
So,
yeah, true.
so they're going to have to re-upload him back into his robot body because Grid currently is using it.
Oh yeah, fucking Grid.
Yeah,
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
Grid. Man, Cyborg, you need to upgrade your virus protection that you keep getting taken over.
Yeah, uninstall McAfee and install something a bit better.
Man, poor Cyborg, he keeps getting locked out of his own body. It's like when people say, "Sorry guys, my Twitter account got hacked." Oh, sorry guys, my body got hacked. Well, Cyborg, that's what you get for downloading too much free pornography off the internet without good virus protection. I hate to say you did this to yourself, Vic, but you did this to yourself. It was just too good to be true. But yeah, interesting issue, cool issue. I mean, I suppose Darkseid War is going to take us to the very end of Justice League now, before TC Rebirth starts.
Oh yeah, definitely. I reckon it's even going to go over.
Oh, you
I think it's going to go over.
Well, no, I think it has to be done by 52, because 52 is Lex Luthor putting on his, like, robot Superman suit that we see in the beginning of Rebirth.
Oh, there'll be like another special, I reckon.
Darkseid War 2. It's like World War 2.
Yeah, it's like they keep threatening with Future's End too.
Not in this lifetime. I will not have it. When Future's End 2 becomes a thing, Joel will consider quitting. What, reviewing comics? No, quitting everything. But yeah, that was the Darkseid War special. What else did you have happening, Matt?
Where's my list? I had Midnighter issue 11.
Haven't got a chance to get to that one yet, but I'm sure it was cool.
Pretty cool. Apollo turned up.
Nice.
And him Midnighter team up.
That's good. That's what everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah, Bendix finally gets to make his new superhero called the Unified, which has Superman tier powers, since
Right.
it runs off Kryptonian genes.
Nice.
And yeah, he's basically created it so people like the Suicide Squad and whatnot don't need to exist. It's like the perfect human being
Right.
who will follow orders to the T and not question them and everything.
An omnipotent godchild.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Afterthought fought Midnighter again, and Midnighter outsmarted him by
Cool.
doubling up on his armor and tiring the guy out,
Nice.
and then breaking his arms.
Sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, it's just really just Apollo and Midnighter talking, since they haven't talked for a while, and Midnighter filling him in on what's all been happening and everything. And
That's good.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
I hope they get a happy ending at the end, those two. Even if they don't end up back together, I hope they get a happy ending.
Yeah, I hope they go to another book.
Yeah, I really, like I keep saying, man, Justice League of America, instead of like Superman and Batman, have a team with Midnighter and Apollo, and then just fill it up with a bunch of other beloved characters who don't have a book.
Yeah, they definitely should do that.
Just saying, don't let your good characters languish. I mean,
No.
people will pick up a book just to support Shazam or Static or characters that they like.
Exactly.
I mean, what was the last new DC team you remember them making?
Whew.
I think United was the last new team they tried making,
Yeah, I think so.
and it's
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't really count Earth 2 stuff, so yeah.
and maybe Earth Two. So, yeah, I mean Earth Two is kind of a new team, even though it's a new
Yeah,
team made
they
up
they
of.
made the society, so
Yeah, there you go. There's a new team. Another book I had this week, Detective Comics number 51. You've gotten me on the Detective Comics now, Matt. Did you get to read this?
I did get to read this.
This is a cool story. I like the idea that even though Bruce Wayne is back in all the other Batman books, Gordon still gets one last story in Detective.
Yeah, and also this story was actually pretty brutal. Like
It
there was a lot of
was.
stuff in here I didn't expect to be in an everyday
Oh,
comic.
there was some twisted shit in here for sure.
Yeah, like people getting shot in the head and gutted and
Oh yeah.
stabbed and whatnot,
A
and
cra-
showing it as well.
Oh
Usually
yeah.
they black that stuff out, but
A
yeah,
crazy desert dwelling sadomasochistic torture cult.
yeah, and they killed all of Jim Gordon's Marine Corps buddies.
Yeah, they killed all his war friends, which means Gordon has to suit up in the Bat costume and go to the Middle East to investigate this and get to the bottom of it, which I'm like, man, what a cool premise.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm ashamed it's only going to get one more issue.
Yeah, at this point, I'm almost like, man, could Detective Comics just, like, can Jim Gordon just have a book where he does, like, Jim Gordon's mysteries? Like, I'd read that.
Yeah, I would too. He doesn't even have to be like in the Bat costume. He can just be Jim Gordon in Detective
Heck,
Comics.
he wasn't in the Bat costume for the majority of this
I
story.
know he was in it for like two panels.
Yeah, he barely put the Bat costume on at all. You know what? If we get our wish, maybe after DC Rebirth down the line, they'll give us like a new Gotham Central or like or Gotham PD or something.
Oh God, I hope so.
Because they mentioned that Maggie Sawyer, because she's not like head of police anymore, she started her own, or she started a new major crimes unit. I would totally read like a major crimes unit book.
Yeah, do we know what's happening with Gordon in Rebirth?
From the pictures we've seen, Batman's back in the costume. He's grown his hair and his mustache back, and is just back to being commissioner.
Ah,
Yeah, so his status quo has just been returned 100%, and being Batman affected his life no way at all. Which is kind of unfortunate because I was kind of hoping like if they had built up to like a Batman war scenario where Gordon is like, well, no, Bruce, I don't think I should go away. I think I'm doing a lot of good work as Batman. I think I will continue to wear the costume and continue to be a Batman of checks and balances.
yeah. I kind of thought that was going to happen when Batman actually turned up again.
Yeah, and like
I thought he was going to say, "No, I'm not going away. I'm staying as Batman."
yeah, and so we end up with like another battle for the cowl type situation where it's like, the world ain't big enough for two Batmans.
Yeah.
Gordon stepped aside a little too easily, didn't he?
He did. I can see why. Like, I guess he sort of respects Batman and
Oh,
everything,
for
but
sure.
still, like, he'd been Batman for like a
I
year and a
I
half. So,
think if Rebirth wasn't a thing and these stories got to continue and they weren't doing like a big line wide reworking, I wouldn't be surprised if we got there eventually.
oh yeah, definitely.
Because it feels like a lot of these stories, they're like, okay, wrap it up now.
They do. Like, especially these ones getting to like issue 51 and everything.
Where it's like, look, we don't care what you were doing, wrap it up for the new status quo and the new writer. Just wrap it all up now.
Yep.
What else did you have?
I had Green Lantern issue 51.
Ah, yes, you and your Green Lanterns.
This was another wrap it up book.
Yeah, so
Uh,
some other people were telling me the same thing that they're trying to get everything in order for the relaunch, rebirth.
yeah. So way back in like I think it was like Green Lantern Annual 4 or something. I don't know. They hinted at the Grey Agents, which is coming after Hal Jordan and all that. They appeared in this issue. They finally caught up with Hal and all that, and kidnapped Virgo and Trapper. Hal has to save them. Hal also unlocked new powers of the Gauntlet, which actually turns him into Will Incarnate.
Mm.
So kind of similar to Parallax, the whole Parallax Green Lantern sort of thing. Parallax Green Lantern just like disappeared as well.
Did he just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
done.
well, he like left last issue, and I kind of expected him to come back this issue, like at the end maybe, and maybe their thing is what sort of triggers Rebirth, since they're big, omnipresent beings and everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, he just buggered off to deal with Telos in his book,
yeah. Wherever that is.
and yeah, he's gone, and yeah, Hal Jordan's just saving his friend. So yeah, kind of didn't really matter Especially with like, I don't know why they built up these grey agents when they're going to appear in this issue and next issue and never again.
And then we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, yeah, we got to wrap it up.
We got to wrap all this shit up, guys. It's like, look, I know you were doing stuff, but we got more important shit coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, that's like I hope that that massive 80-page Rebirth
yeah.
issue. I hope that isn't just sort of like we're wrapping up every storyline.
Well, apparently Johns is writing that one, and Johns cares about Green Lantern, so wouldn't it be hilarious if like 90% of that comic was devoted to Green Lantern? Where it's like, damn it, Johns, you suckered us all into buying a new Green Lantern book.
It's Green Lantern, and he goes back to Earth and meets up with Flash and
Captain
him and
Cold
Flash.
and all the other Jeff Johns characters that he loves.
And then Superman just comes in at the end.
Hey, guys. If Superman is even still alive. Well, I guess he is still alive because we see him in the thing, but he might not live for much longer.
Yeah, he'll die in Rebirth. I think he's the one who's going to die.
I think it's pretty much a lock at this point. Superman is dying either by sickness or by the events of Rebirth.
Yeah.
You gonna die, you ain't gonna make it. Another book I read, Old Man Logan #4. This was a weird one. Did you get a chance to read this?
I have flipped through it.
This also falls into the realm of, okay, wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, I saw like it was that whole thing with him and Steve Rogers, old Steve Rogers, who doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, because he's young again in the pages of Captain America, so obviously this takes place in the past, but we knew that. It's pretty much just Steve and Logan yelling at each other for a whole issue before Steve can finally get Logan to understand that this isn't the world he came from.
Yeah, he has to show him himself dead, basically.
Yeah, he has to show him like the adamantium shell where 616 Wolverine was stuck. And from there, he just kind of, drinks and drifts and does Wolverine stuff until he runs into the events of Extraordinary X-Men #1, where he gets scooped up by the other X-Men for that team. And I'm kind of like, oh, well, that wasn't nearly as interesting.
Yeah, I kind of expected like him to go on this big revenge sort of plot where he just kills all like those villains he had on his list, and this happened near the end when like I think it would have been really cool if he got to like Red Skull and like Captain America technically saves Red Skull.
Yeah, or Mysterio or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, from being killed by Wolverine. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, they build up this epic revenge quest over the last 3 issues, and then they just kind of cock-block revenge at the end.
Yeah.
Where it's like, whoa, you put that revenge boner back in your pants, young man.
Yeah, Logan managed to kill one of the D-listers that were on his list that no one really cares about.
Black Butcher, who no one gave a shit about. Then he tried to kill Hulk, only it wasn't the right Hulk, and Banner is maybe already dead, maybe not now.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you got like one and a half people on your murder list. That is an unfinished murder list. I guess the question moving forward for that book is, what the heck is that book going to be now that they're done his revenge quest and now that time is caught up? I guess it's just what Wolverine's doing when he's not doing X-Men or Extraordinary X-Men stuff.
Yeah, I would have preferred if this book was sort of like a mini-series.
It was
like,
kind of...
because what can you do now? Because now that they've like sort of caught up with the X-Men stuff, they've got to obviously jump forward because we see him. Is he involved in Pleasant Hill and everything?
None of the X-Men are involved in Pleasant Hill by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's an Avengers of... Well, I say none of the X-Men, but actually plenty of X-Men are. It's just they're on the Uncanny Avengers team.
That's true, yeah.
Which, man, that Uncanny Avengers team has so many mutants on it now, it might as well just be another X-Men team.
Yeah, it's got like one Avenger.
It's true. It's like you got Rogue, you got Deadpool, you got Cable now, you got Quicksilver.
Yeah, and then there's Miss Marvel.
Well, Miss Marvel and Human Torch and that new Inhuman they have, ISO or Synapse. No, the one on that team is Synapse. ISO's the one from the other book. We got so many new Inhumans now, I can't tell them apart.
I know, it's hard to keep track.
I do crazy brain stuff. What's your name? ISO. I also do crazy brain stuff. What's your name? Synapse. You two should meet and fight, and one of you should pick a better name. Or at least change costumes, because even their costumes are kind of similar. But yeah, that was Old Man Logan. Not a great ending to what was a great story, and I'm kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it, and yeah, it kind of just came and went.
Not only did they kind of drop the ball at the end, but both of these are written by Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire writes
Hmm.
Extraordinary X-Men, and he writes this book. Jeff Lemire contradicts himself at the end of this, actually.
Really? I haven't been reading the X-Men book.
Okay, so like when Wolverine meets his team, when he's fighting the Sentinel, and he looks at them and he's like, "Oh, I was so happy because I knew I didn't have to be alone anymore. Because here's my team, here's my friends, the X-Men." Meanwhile, in Extraordinary X-Men, when Iceman and Storm try and recruit him, Old Man Logan's like, "Nah, fuck you guys, leave me alone." And it was young Jean who had to like kick him in the ass to come and join the X-Men proper. So it's like, wait, so Logan kind of contradicts himself here in this story by saying he was happy to see them when in reality he wasn't actually happy to see them. I don't know. Maybe Lemire forgot. Or maybe I wouldn't be surprised too. Like maybe he wrote Old Man Logan first and Extraordinary X-Men second. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, eh? Yeah, maybe like wrote the first like 3 or 4 issues of Old Man Logan, and or like had the scripts written and everything for him,
Yeah.
and then like they caught up, and he's like, oh,
It feels like maybe these were written out of sequence, but again, I can't be 100% sure on that.
yeah.
What else did you have happening?
What did I have? I had um. What else have I read? I've read. Oh, I had Black Widow issue 2.
Oh, see, I didn't get a chance to read that one yet.
It was pretty cool. We got a little bit of background on like what that whole first issue was about, like
Right.
why Natasha is on the run from Shield
Yeah,
and
why
everything.
Shield trying to kill her?
Yeah, Shield's trying to kill her because she's working for this Russian guy called Weeping Lion,
There's a good name.
and
Is,
and
is,
what
is he a
what he's
freaking Metal Gear villain, Weeping Lion?
he looks like he has like the Bane jacket, and he wears like a balaclava and like jack boots and whatnot.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
And what he's done is he's gotten hold of all these files that incriminate Natasha on like some of her stuff that she's done, like stuff that isn't meant to be made public.
Political assassinations and the like.
Uh, yeah, and he says that he will make them public if she doesn't go and steal something from the helicarrier, a key of some sort.
That's funny. Someone threatening to whistleblow on Black Widow when in the movies it's Black Widow who helps whistleblow on Shield.
I mentioned that as well. I said like it's really similar to the movies, how she had all her private, confidential files released from Shield and everything. So she was sort of in the target line there for a little bit.
She's
So I
probably
wonder
like,
if that's
hey,
going to happen in the comics.
she's probably like, hey, it's not fun when you guys do it. It's only fun when I do it. Yeah, that book looks interesting. I definitely mean to read it. It kind of got dropped to the bottom of my pile because I had so much extra this week. But yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and I did have Black Panther, but I actually haven't read it yet.
I read Black Panther this week. That was the first one I had popped up because I knew it was a big, important first issue.
What was it like?
It's interesting, and I've talked about this elsewhere. There was another comic show I was on this week, The Pull This Week in Comics, which you can find over on the Comic TV channel. We talk about it. It's the first big Black Panther series post Secret Wars, and Wakanda, probably more than anywhere else, has actually, benefited from Secret Wars, because if you'll remember, in the beginning of the Hickman run, Wakanda was kind of on its last legs.
Mm-hmm.
Now things seem to be more or less back to normal in the place. They seem to be doing a lot better. And where was I going with this? Yeah, things seem to be a little better. There's like a lot of political royal intrigue going on. Someone is using their superpowers to start an uprising in the vibranium mines, which is no good for T'Challa because, as the vibranium mines go, as the country goes. His mom, the Queen Mother, although I don't think it's actually his real mom. I think they make a point of saying he's like the second wife of his dad, T'Chaka, which technically makes her the Queen Mother, but not his mother.
Yeah.
She's running roughshod over his decisions, and she's doing a lot of stuff that maybe she shouldn't be doing. Black Panther, despite being king again, isn't exactly beloved by his people right now. They're calling him the Orphan King, because apparently he's still hanging out in the necropolis a bunch. And everyone's like, man, what a fucking weirdo. So yeah, Black Panther just can't catch a break. The really interesting thing about this book is how it's written, and of course, for anyone who's followed our coverage of this book comes from a guy named Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is a journalist for The Atlantic. He's been on like The Daily Show and The Colbert Report. Real smart guy, real learned guy. And it shows in the comic because, he writes this like a book, not a comic book.
Yeah.
He really does. And this is his first comic ever, and it's like a very wordy comic. And like I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I know that'll be a turnoff to a lot of people. Uses a lot of words and sentence structure that you normally wouldn't see in a comic book.
Yeah, and I guess that also is really cool as well, since like the character of Black Panther is kind of like regal and very learned guy as well. Like he's very highly educated.
That
as
his
well.
comics should also be very learned and everything, and use a lot of SAT words. But it's a fun book. It's a very odd book, and I know I talked to some other people, and they weren't exactly in love with the first issue because it wasn't what they expected it to be. I'm definitely going to stick with it because I think, there could be something here. And it's interesting that Coates, because he's written a bunch on Africa and because he's African himself, he infuses a lot of what's going on in the country now into what's going on in Wakanda in this book, and I think that's a nice kind of like pulled from the headlines thing he's got going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. What else did I have? Oh, I had it was a book from last week, but I had to push it to this week. I read Hyperion issue 1.
Oh yes, Hyperion is still being a thing right now, and Nighthawk is coming out soon.
Yeah, and people have asked me for my review on this, and it's really weird because like I did my review, I did the video up, but the video wouldn't like play.
Oh.
I have no idea what was going on, and I like tried it with a different review, and it would play that. It just wouldn't play this one. I have no idea why.
It's the cursed video.
But this issue was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It was very Mad Max Fury Road.
Ooh.
Hyperion, or Mark, he's now a trucker, and he's
Cool.
He's out like experiencing this new world he's on. He's experiencing America and like just looking at like what he's fighting for.
So this is the long-awaited Trucker Man series that we've been waiting for. He drives a truck, he fights crime, and powers up with methamphetamines to drive all night.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. He picks up a hitchhiking girl and finds out that
Which
this
isn't
girl
creepy at all
escaped-
when you're a trucker.
No, it's not. Oh, she knows he's Hyperion.
Oh.
That's why she goes with him.
That makes sense.
And we find out that this girl escaped from a crazy traveling circus who's very much like the Immortan Joe traveling convoy in
Oh, wow.
Fury Road. They actually have a sequence like Fury Road where they're chasing Mark's truck and people are jumping onto his truck and everything, and he's shooting at him with his heat vision and everything.
You hadn't yet Killer Circus. I don't know if people know this, but I am a sucker for stories involving crazy psycho circuses, be it the Circus of Crime, the Devil's Carnival, or anything like that.
But yeah, it was really cool and pretty well written. It was done by a guy called Chuck Wending. I think he's the same as with the guy who wrote Black Panther. He's never wrote a comic before. He's an author. He wrote the first new Star Wars book that came out in the new canon and everything. And I think that's why everyone hates him. Because like a lot of people hate him. I have no idea why.
Marvel's been doing a lot of that lately, getting like literary people to write their comics now, trying to find new interesting voices, which makes a lot of sense because I mean we read a lot of comics written by the same people, don't we?
Yeah. It's like, oh look, another Mark Waid book,
another
Rob
Bendis,
Taylor. Yeah, it was a really cool book. I'm really interested in this series.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I know as a Superman fan, it probably strikes a really interesting chord for you because Hyperion is yet another take on the Superman-esque character.
Yeah, God, he's really Superman in this book.
He is the Marvel Superman. Man, wouldn't it be hilarious if they made a Hyperion movie?
Oh, I think that's the only way we're going to get a real Superman movie. So.
Ba-dum-tish. Matt bringing the fire and the heat. Come at him, bros. Spinning off from that, I had not one but two Suicide Squad books this week.
Two.
The first one was the Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's special, which is ridiculous because it came out like 2 weeks after April Fool's, and I'm only going to be getting to it in the near future, so it's a long way past April. Here's the thing. It's an April Fool's book, which before, I mean, like Harley Quinn has had Christmas specials and Valentine's Day specials and all sorts of other specials, but they were written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, who write the main Harley Quinn book, and those, books were one and done comedy takes, is what they were. This
Yep.
one wasn't, because
What was it?
this was written by the guy who's going to be writing the DC Rebirth Suicide Squad book, and it had art by Jim Lee in it.
Oh, okay then.
So this is basically DC Rebirth Suicide Squad issue 0.
Okay.
Is what this was, and it's very freaking weird. And like I was already writing a negative review in my head because it starts off with Harley living in Gotham, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. And then it has Harley doing all these things that aren't in her character, and I'm like, that's not how it works. Oh, and she has like this big, crazy, prolonged like fantasy sequence with like really colorful, really cutesy artwork, almost JL8 almost.
Okay.
Wherein she imagines herself starting this support group called Villains Anonymous, where she tries to wean people off their supervillainy tendencies, and like a bunch of D-listers go to visit her, like Killer Moth goes to visit her, and Enchantress goes to visit her.
Oh, cool.
And in the end, Harley Quinn realizes, oh no, only aversion therapy will work. I need to steal a bunch of Scarecrow's fear toxin so all these people can face their fears. But it's
That's
at
smart,
that,
yeah.
it's smart, yeah. But then it's at that point the Justice League breaks on in, and the art turns back to good Jim Lee art. And Wonder Woman's like, we heard reports of a brand new supervillain team being started called Villains Anonymous, and they're stocking up on Scarecrow poison. We're here to stop you now, Harley Quinn. So they beat the crap out of her.
Oh, that's amazing.
And everyone else, I'm like, that's kind of funny, but it's not a joke, though.
Oh.
Because we find out that Harley Quinn is actually in a simulator set up by Amanda Waller to reinforce her hatred of superheroes. And also, Amanda Waller now looks like Viola Davis, but she doesn't look like
Yes.
Viola Davis in the new Suicide Squad book that came out this week next to it.
In what was it? Midnighter, when she's in Midnighter, she's like thin, and she's got like the straightened hair and like a bob cut and everything, and
So
yeah.
it's only in this one book did she morph into Viola Davis, and then she goes to talk to the rest of the Suicide Squad. Oh yes, the Suicide Squad only shows up in one panel of this comic, and it's the last panel, and it's Deadshot, Killer Croc, Katana, Captain Boomerang. So it's the team from the movie,
Oh.
and that's the final thing. And I'm like, what the fuck was this comic? Was this a seasonal joke tie-in? Was it a 0 issue? Was it trying to be both? It feels like it doesn't succeed either place. But the art is nice.
I suppose that's something.
Yeah. The other one by Tim Seeley, which was just New Suicide Squad number 19, that one was much better.
Yeah.
That was, again, the Suicide Squad and all of these other Wildstorm heroes are trapped inside a German castle being hunted down by the Fist of Cain, that depopulationist cult who wants to kill them all for points.
Yep.
That's fun. Waller gets to do some cool shit back at the office. She finds out that the British guy who came to try and set up his own Suicide Squad, that he's actually not telling the truth, and they all have to work together, and basically the three of them, with Captain Boomerang, who they wake up out of his cell, they got to go save the team now. So that was fun, and that was interesting. That one was much better.
Cool.
What else did you have going on, Matt?
I had Invincible Iron Man issue 8.
Okay, I read this one too. I read this one late, but I did read it.
Pretty cool. Spider-Man and Iron Man team up.
They sure do, and I like Bendis has a perfect reason as to why he writes Spider-Man his way and not Dan Slott's way. And that is Spider-Man being like, "Oh, sorry, Tony, jet lag. I'm all loopy and stuff. That's why I'm all funny and silly now." They even make a
also-
joke about Spider-Man's green symbol,
Yeah, they do, yeah.
which feels like
also
such a catty move from Bendis to Slott. It's like, your green spider makes no sense.
Yeah, mine's gonna be blue.
Yeah.
But this issue also had really cool roadie scenes in it, where he like fights all these ninjas.
He has a sword fight in his underwear. It's pretty great.
Yes, and he like lives as well.
He does. Yeah, you're thinking like, I kept waiting for him, like, they're going to cut off one of his arms, aren't they? They're going to cut off one of his arms.
Yeah, they're gonna stab him or something.
Rhodey is going to die here. He is so freaking dead, but not he made it.
Yeah, and then like when I liked when Tony and Spider-Man turned up to help him. Tony's armor immediately got sucked into that massive
Tomo
armor
robot, yeah.
that robot thing that they were making. I thought that was pretty cool.
Just to bring it back to SWAT Cats, that villain that eats technology and makes it part of itself, that reminds me very much of a villain they had on SWAT Cats. I'm not going to say that, Bendis is wrong or that SWAT Cats did it first, but SWAT Cats did it first. Yeah, that was a fun book. Again, they continue to say, on the road to Civil War II, while not actually planting any seeds for Civil War.
Maybe that massive explosion at the end has made something to do with it, maybe.
That's got nothing to do with future crime. Civil War II is all about future crime.
Maybe they'll say, we knew this was going to happen, Tony, but you never listened to us.
You don't listen to us. I like MJ had some funny stuff in this book, too, where she's just like, nah, screw you, Tony, I'm out.
Yeah, I like MJ in this book. I think she's pretty cool.
Me too, and there's talk that she's going to become the Iron Spider.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk she might become the Iron Spider. I think, didn't we have a bit there where Tony's like, here, MJ, come into my closet, pick a suit, any suit that I'm not currently wearing. This is your Christmas bonus. Pick a suit, any suit. You want the underwater suit? You want the white space suit? That's a fun one. Oh, hey, Iron Spider, I built this one for Spider-Man. Because they're still trying to protect the identity, even though MJ already knows, or at least she should already know.
Yeah.
That's fun. Man, I had so much to friggin' read this week. It was goddamn ridiculous.
It was.
I guess I'll talk about Uncanny Avengers and New Avengers, the standoff tie-ins in one, because they go kind of hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, I read Uncanny, but New Avengers I've sort of like flicked through, and I know what it's about anyway.
Right,
so, yeah.
Okay, so Uncanny Avengers, you read it too. It deals with Rogue, of all people. She gets a fun little focus issue of her trying to break Kobik's mind control and trying to break everyone else of the mind control.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and Charles Xavier's there. And
Got a great. I enjoyed Charles Xavier more in that cameo than I did enjoy him in the last lead up until he was dead. He's like, well, Rogue, in the future, in case someone should try and attack your mind psychically, I will teach you how to put up barriers to stop it.
Yeah. I also like in the background how Wolverine comes in. It's like, Wolverine, are you still drinking? He's like, I haven't slept yet, so your 5 o'clock rule doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, really. Isn't it a little early, Logan? Go fuck yourself, Chuck. Wolverine drinks what he wants when he wants. And Nightcrawler just hanging out on the banister.
Yeah, he's like, come on, elf.
It's like, you don't know, Rogue. You could be imagining this right now. Am I here? You don't know. I like she gets Johnny Storm back to reality by lighting him on fire.
Yeah. And I like Deadpool's a little part there as well. It's like, I was always in Connecticut.
Yeah, Deadpool's like, fuck Connecticut. Just another reason for me to hate this state.
I also liked it how Wade Wilson had the mustache and everything. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's the new hip thing. Whenever he has skin, he's like a Tom Selleck looking guy with red hair and a mustache.
That's the Ryan Reynolds needs to do that in the next movie.
Just grow a Tom Selleck mustache. I agree.
Yep.
The movie will be 100 times better if he has one of those. Now, did you have the same problem I did with this book, and that is trying to place it in continuity is very difficult?
Yeah.
Because somehow it's after Captain America comes to Pleasant Hill, but it's before the supervillains take over and start running amok.
Yeah, but before this issue came out, I was okay with where everything was taken, because you could tell where everything was sort of situated.
Now it's
this issue is okay, this issue obviously takes place after the last all new, all different Avengers.
Yes.
But before and during the new Captain America.
Right, because everyone's just walking around normal and living their lives normal. The supervillains haven't overthrown everybody yet.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird, but I guess that makes sense why Captain America calling for help never worked or anything.
Yeah.
Because he did, in that other issue. He's like, okay, I'm calling in the Unity Squad. I guess this explains why.
Yeah, it explains, why they're not
And I
there.
suppose the continuation of this will be an all-new, all-different Avengers, and the story there is them. They gotta fight Kobik, but more than that, they gotta solve this whole Maria Hill situation.
Yeah, we still haven't figured that out yet.
No, they even say that's on our agenda. We got to regroup with Captain America because he'll know what's going on. It's his event after all.
Yeah, because he's with the actual Maria Hill.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, oh, god damn it.
I know, this is confusing. And then you're like, well, maybe there's more than 2 Maria Hills. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe she's Red Skull, but that other guy was Red Skull, but maybe he's
Yo.
not Red Skull.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't you love it if it was just like some stupid D-list villain who turns out to be the masquerading Maria Hill?
Yeah, yeah, it was yeah. Who would it be?
It
Who would
was
it
me,
be?
Paste Pot Pete, all along. this this was my great revenge plot. No one will call me lame after this. All those years of the Avengers beating on me and making me change my name to Trapster. Actually, I think we've already seen Trapster running around the town. Actually, I think they've already used him as a sight gag.
Or was it him?
Or what exactly? Turns out the real Pace Pop was actually Thanos all along. But yeah, that's a fun book. New Avengers is all about the American Kaiju, which is a Godzilla monster with an American flag tattoo who can only roar USA, USA.
Yeah, it's a guy that hulks into Godzilla.
Yes, created by General Maverick. Yes, his name is General Maverick. No, again, you skipped over it, but did you catch what the soldier's name was who they shot up with Godzilla formula?
I didn't know.
Todd Ziller. Get it? Todd Ziller, Godzilla. That's funny. No, this one probably had the least to do with standoff in Pleasant Hill at all. Like, I was halfway reading this, like, what the fuck does any of this have to do with Pleasant Hill? And I'm like, oh yeah, they took the whistleblower Rick Jones, didn't they? And now he's hanging out on their island.
Yeah, the new Avengers have gone rogue basically and captured back Rick Jones, and now the government's go gung ho against them because they weren't allowed to operate on U.S. soil.
But they broke that rule to save him, and because Maria Hill and assumedly the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. is tied up in Pleasant Hill, John Garrett, part-time cyborg, full-time D-bag, is taking this chance to come after the new Avengers himself.
Yeah, this is like what he wanted, I guess.
Now, you've been reading the book. Has Garrett been in the book before this, or is he just showing up now?
I read the first 3 issues, then stopped, then read issue 7, and and just these tie-ins. So I don't think so.
Someone who's read all of them tell me they treated it like he was showing up for the first time.
He probably was. He probably, because I know like at the beginning Hawkeye joined them to sort of look after them,
right,
and sort of make sure they don't do anything on U.S. soil and everything. So maybe like the government came and said, Hawkeye is fucking up and which joining them and everything.
Which is too funny because we find out Songbird is actually a sleeper S.H.I.E.L.D. agent too.
Yeah.
And now they're both trying to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
And talk to each other, but they can't quite do it. Fun issue. Doesn't really make me want to keep up with the book, but I'm enjoying what I'm reading.
Yeah, it's kind of like a book that, like, the first arc was kind of cool because it involved hulking and Wiccan, and then like you're like,
This, I mean, like,
kind of meh.
It was perfectly adequate reading, is what I would call it.
Yeah.
Perfectly adequate. Now, is that it for you? How many more did you have? Because I'm thinking of just lightning rounding these last couple.
All I had left was, where is it? Darth Vader issue 18.
Oh, right on. How was that?
Pretty cool. The cyborg twins are going to fight Darth Vader.
Right on.
The only thing is, there was this really weird subplot of that protocol droid, that assassin droid, 000, talking about how he's made a machine for the droids that runs on blood. And like it just come out of nowhere. Like I have no idea like what was happening. Like I was reading it and they were getting ready to assault the citadel, and the droid like pipes up like, I have a machine that runs on blood and we just need a little blood because then we'll become more human than machine. And I think it's sort of like an analogy for Vader.
Right.
Like what Vader is like, and I think the droid sort of knows what Vader's like, so he's kind of like pushing his buttons a little bit.
More blood for the blood machine, more skulls for the skull throne.
It fucking comes out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Man, I gotta catch up on Vader. That sounds cool. Just lightning rounding the last couple I had. Spider-Man number 3. A cool story of Miles at home and Miles' family. He doesn't even put on the Spider-Man costume this issue.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just a whole story of his home life and everything that's going on. One of the interesting pieces of information that they drop about this is that when his grandma is laying into him about his grades and everything and says, you don't want to end up like your deadbeat dead Uncle Aaron. And I'm like, oh, so his parents got to live, but Uncle Aaron didn't. Well, shit, Uncle Aaron. Sucks to be you, huh? You stay dead, Ultimate Prowler. That was a fun issue. Green Arrow, number 51. Green Arrow goes to Africa and fights Deathstroke. What more can you want?
Cool.
There's actually a rebel army in this issue called the Whites. Here's the thing, though. They're like a bunch of African rebel freedom fighters, and their leader is like this big, fat, almost Violator-looking guy from Spawn. And all of these guys have the top halves of their head painted white. And he's like, yes, I call my group the Whites because Western society is the most poisonous, destructive thing in the world, and I have used the tactics of the West to help take over Africa. And Oliver Queen is like, on one hand, you make me sick and you're psychotic, and on the other hand, you're not wrong. So that was good. That was some good politicizing there going on, which I enjoyed. And lastly, Deadpool number 9. Deadpool versus Sabretooth. It was a fun fight. That was about it.
Cool.
Oh, man. Another, like, almost hour and 40-minute show, man. I swear these get longer and longer. And when we think they're going to be short is when they end up being really long.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, everyone, I will start bringing this show to a close. As always, remember to like, subscribe, favorite, and do all that other social media jazz. Be sure to check out Matt on, what is that channel again?
Fortress of Solitude.
Yes, you can check that out, and if you can't find that, just go to the front page of Cape Joel, and you can find it off to the side. It's right there. You can't miss it. Want to thanks again to all of the patrons who gave so generously, and because of that, the podcast will now have a place to be put up and downloaded. We will keep you up to date on those things as it happen, and hopefully when we can go live with it, I will have all the old episodes backed up. I assume that'll happen in the month or so, or whenever Patreon pays out. Again, this is my first time, so I'm still learning all that. Man, what a great business model Patreon has. You do all the campaigning, you collect all the money, and we just take a cut of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What a great business model they have going on there. So, yeah, that'll about do it for the show, everyone. Anything you want to promote, Matt? Anything you're doing on your own channel you want the people to know all about?
Not really. I was planning on doing a Superman in media this week, but it got really hectic, so I'm probably going to push that for a couple of weeks. But it is coming. There's a really cool one coming up.
Next week is a lighter week, as far as I can tell.
Oh, not for me.
Oh yeah, not for me it is, but not for you. That's usually the way it goes for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, everyone, that'll do it for us, and we will see you next time for another episode of the Comic Multiverse. Bye-bye.
See ya.